Welcome back, On Guard Army. Today we are going to be going over my favorite post-rotation build for Wet Cheese, also known as Gholdengo Palkia, because this man is String Cheese Man. Anyway, we're going to go over this list from start to finish. There's a couple of new cards in here that I think give Gholdengo Palkia an extremely oppressive place in the meta, and we'll go over that a little bit more into the list. But a couple of the cards that we get with this set that makes this deck particularly good are Cryptomaniac's Deciphering, Morty's Conviction, and of course Prime Catcher, as well as, in my opinion, Full+Metal+Lab. I think Full+Metal+Lab is a huge boost to this deck as well, and I'll go over what all of those cards do as we go through the list. But to start, we have Gholdengo EX. This is a 260 HP Metal-type Pokemon with the ability Coin Bonus. Coin Bonus says once during your turn you may draw a card. If this Pokemon is in the active spot, draw one more card. So you're drawing 2 cards if it's in the active, and for each of them on the bench you can draw an additional 1 card. Unless you have Gholdengo and you switch into another Gholdengo, in which case you could be drawing 4 with just 2 of them. Make It Rain does 50 damage for each card you discard, or each basic energy card you discard from your hand. So you attach a metal, and then you can discard as many other energy of any color to do 50 damage for each one. So for 5 you're doing 250, for 6 you're doing 300, for 7 you're doing 350. So this can hit some absolutely massive knockouts in this game. We are also playing 2 of the Call for Family Gimmighoul, because if you go second and you start this Gimmighoul or are able to switch into this Gimmighoul, Call for Family is great for being able to get down either your Palkia or another Gimmighoul, or Greninja if you need draw on board. It's definitely a great Pokemon to have in this deck, and without Yoga Loop being in format, it is definitely better. It's definitely a better time to be running the 50 HP Gimmighoul. We're running 2 of this one in our list, and 2 of the 70 HP Gimmighoul with the Continuous Coin Toss attack. Continuous Coin Toss does 20 damage for each heads you get, flipping a coin until you hit tails. So, theoretically, this for 1 energy could KO anything if you're lucky enough. You can kind of just throw it out there, but it's mainly there for having 70 HP, meaning that it's not as easily going to be picked off by your opponents. Then we have 2 Origin Form Palkia VSTAR. This is a 280 HP 2-prize Pokemon with the attack Subspace Swell for 2 waters. It does 60 plus 20 more damage for each bench Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's. So this caps out at 260 damage. This is a great mid-range attack that doesn't require you discarding a bunch of energy from your hand in order to get those big KOs, and it takes 2-prize KOs pretty well. It also has the V-Star Power's Star Portal, which lets you accelerate up to 3 Water Energy cards from your discard pile to your Water Pokemon in any way you like. This can set up your own Palkia V-Star, or it can be used to set up your Radiant Greninja, which can snipe for 90 damage on 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. We also have Origin Form Palkia V to evolve into the Palkia VSTAR. This has 220 HP, but also has an attack called Rule the Region, where we can search our deck for a Stadium card, either a PokéStop or the Full+Metal+Lab, or whatever it was called specifically. This is great for being able to grab a supporter in order to bump a supporter card. Grab a stadium card to bump one of your opponent's stadium cards that they've played, or to just grab a stadium that will be good for you being able to draw on your next turn, like PokéStop for being able to discard the top 3 cards of your deck and grab any item cards you discarded from there. The attack Hydro Break is also a nice attack on this particular Pokemon, because if you have your other one on the bench, and you want to accelerate onto this one in particular to do a flat 200, like for example, say your opponent does not play down enough Pokemon for your V-Star to get the knockout, maybe the V might be just in range to actually take that KO. So this could come up in a pinch, but it's not going to be used super frequently, obviously. Then we have Radiant Greninja. This has 130 health, the ability Concealed Cards to discard an energy card and draw 2 cards, which synergizes very well with Palkia VSTAR, as well as being able to put energy in our discard to Superior Energy Retrieval back for our Gholdengo's Make It Rain attack. But it also has the attack Moonlight Shuriken, which allows us to snipe 90 on 2 of our opponent's Pokemon, which, again, paired with Palkia VSTAR, can actually snipe 2 of our opponents down. Then we have a Manaphy to block our opponent from sniping our Gimmighouls on the bench. It prevents them from knocking them out before we get our draw engine established, because our Gholdengos are our draw engine. And I feel like this deck gets a lot better without Path to the Peak being in format anymore. Then we have Squawkabilly EX. Without Battle VIP Pass, it's a little bit harder to set up, so we are playing Squawk in order to draw an additional 6 cards on the first turn of the game, in order to draw into our Nest Balls, just raw Pokemon, or the Buddy+Poffins to be able to get our Gimmighouls down faster. It also has an attack motivate, so if you go second and you motivate, you could accelerate energy onto, say, your Greninja or your Palkia, or even just 1 energy onto your Gholdengo if you just want to set that up for future notice. It's definitely a great card to have here, and I think it is perfect for setup, especially in post-rotation format. Then we have... I don't know why it's not showing up. Cryptomaniac's Deciphering is not popping up, but this allows us to search our deck for 2 cards, shuffle our deck, and then put the cards on top of the deck in any order. This combos very well with Gholdengo. I don't know why that keeps popping up. This combos very well with Gholdengo. God, I'm going to delete this real quick. There we go. This combos very well with Gholdengo, because putting 2 cards on top of our deck and then using coin bonus means we are literally just getting to search our deck for 2 cards. That's insane. You could use it to search out Superior Energy Retrieval to get energy back from our discard pile so we can bonk things with Gholdengo, or you could put on top a combination such as Canceling Cologne and Prime Catcher, draw into them, use the V-Star power from Palkia onto Radiant Greninja, Canceling Cologne our opponent's Manaphy that we gusted up with Prime Catcher, and be able to snipe 2 of our opponent's bench Pokemon. This is great into Charizard, absolutely fantastic into Zard. It is great into any of the evolution decks, to be completely honest, like Meowscarada or Gardevoir if that survives. I think that this is an absolutely fantastic card in this deck. We also have Irida, because any deck that's playing Water Pokemon and a bunch of items, you definitely want to be playing Irida. Turn 1 of the game, it can grab you Buddy+Poffin, Nest Ball. It can grab you Earthen Vessel at any point in the game. It can grab you Palkia V, Palkia VSTAR, Radiant Greninja, Manaphy. It can grab you any one of those cards. It's insane. So a lot of times what you'll want to do is you'll want to Irida for like Earthen Vessel and Greninja if you don't already have these pieces down. Earthen Vessel for 2 energies, Greninja away and draw 2. That's seeing a ton of cards. It can also grab your Palkia V-Star to evolve. Say you grab Earthen Vessel to pitch a water that you already have in hand, get another one, accelerate onto the field and swing. Ton of things you can do with Irida. You could also either have Canceling Cologne or Prime Catcher already in hand, grab the other piece with Irida, grab Palkia with the other one, and then accelerate onto Greninja. A ton of different combos you can do with these cards in particular. Then we have Morty's Conviction for some raw draw. I don't know if it's... yeah, it's not going to pop up for whatever reason. Irida. Morty's not popping up. You can use this card only if you discard another card from your hand. You draw a card for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So it's very similar to Zinnia's Resolve. Zinnia's Resolve is discarding 2 cards from your hand and drawing a card for each of your opponent's Pokemon in play. So this draws 1 less card, but you also only need to discard 1 to use it, so it's netting the exact same amount of cards in total. Then we've got 2 Boss's Orders. This allows you to gust up one of your opponent's Pokemon. Fantastic card in the game. We normally want to be just bonking their most important attacker throughout the game, whether it be with Gholdengo or with Palkia. This allows us to more easily prize map throughout the game. Then we have Roxanne. We're playing a 1-of Roxanne in addition to the 2 boss. This, later in the game, once our opponent has taken 3 prizes on us, we can make our opponent and ourselves shuffle our hands into our deck. They draw 2, and you draw 6. That's a lot of card draw for something like this, and this deck wants to see a ton of cards. Iono is not as good in this particular deck because as we get later into the game, we want more pieces, and Iono later in the game sees less pieces. Roxanne sees more pieces in the late game. You're seeing 6 fresh cards, and then you can just Gholdengo into the other pieces that you need. It's absolutely insane having Roxanne in this deck. I would definitely be playing Roxanne in this particular deck. Then we have 4 Ultra Ball for discarding cards from our hand and searching our deck for any of our Pokemon, whether it be Squawk, any Palkia pieces, any Gholdengo pieces, Greninja, Manaphy. It's just our all search, which is why we're playing 4 of it. We're playing 3 Nest Ball because the Nest Ball can get any of our basics, but it only grabs 1 of them at a time, hence why we also have Buddy+Poffin. Nest Ball can grab Palkia, whereas Buddy+Poffin cannot, but Buddy+Poffin searches our deck for 2 basic Pokemon of 70 HP or less. So although it can't grab Palkia, Greninja, or Squawk, it can grab Manaphy or our Gimmighouls, which is the main reason we're playing Buddy+Poffin. Then we have 3 Earthen Vessel for discarding a card from our hand and being able to search our deck for any 2 energies. This, paired with Superior Energy Retrieval and Greninja and whatnot, sees us a lot of cards, sees us a lot of energy, allows us to make it rain for big knockouts super frequently throughout the game. Then we have a 1-of regular Energy Retrieval as basically a 5th Energy Retrieval out. This one does not require you to discard 2 cards from your hand, but still gets back 2 basic energy cards. We are playing 4 of the Superior Energy Retrieval, which discards 2 cards from our hand in order to put 4 from our discard pile back into our deck. So the regular Energy Retrieval acts as one that does not require us to discard energy from hand, but can still net us 2 energies. So we have a total of 8 outs to just straight up getting energy, 3 vessels for searching from them for deck, and 4 Superior Energy Retrievals and 1 Energy Retrieval for getting them out of discard. Then we have a Super Rod for being able to put back in any of our Pokemon that we may have discarded with PokéStop, or any energies we may have discarded with our Make It Rain attack throughout the game, or concealed cards. Great management throughout the game. For example, if you have an Earthen Vessel in hand, but you're out of energies in deck, you could Super Rod energies back into deck and then search for it with Earthen Vessel. Absolutely great management card. We definitely want a lot of ways to be able to access our energy throughout the game. Then we have a Pal Pad, because our PokéStops may discard stadiums throughout the game, or we may want to use more than 2 of each of our individual supporters, so Pal Pad is great for being able to manage our supporter count throughout the game. Then we have Canceling Cologne, which is mainly going to be used in order to turn off our opponent's Manaphy and snipe around it with Moonlight Shuriken, but it also comes up against Block Lax, because while they're trying to stall something like our Manaphy or Greninja or Squawkabilly or something, this can turn off their block ability, allowing us to retreat again, going back into an attacker that we can actually KO the Snorlax with. So Canceling Cologne is a great card in this deck. Actually, I'm considering going up to 2 in this particular deck because of how relevant Prime Catcher plus Canceling Cologne is as a combination. Then we have a Switch as a secondary switching effect in addition to Prime Catcher. We can switch from Palkia into Gholdengo, Gholdengo into Palkia, anything into Greninja. Just great to have a switching effect throughout the game. And then we have Prime Catcher, which is a new ACE SPEC. This says switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot. If you do, switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. So this is like a Guzma from the Sun and Moon era, which was a supporter that let you pull up one of your opponent's Pokemon and then switch one of your own. This is that, but as an item. But it being an ACE SPEC means that we can only play one of it. So we are playing Prime Catcher. It's a great gusting effect, and it puts us in very, very good positions throughout the game with this deck. We are playing 2 PokéStop. Theoretically, you could be playing 3 PokéStop, but I cut one of them in order to fit the Full+Metal+Lab into this deck. But this allows us to, once during each player's turn, that player may discard 3 cards from the top of their deck. If a player discarded any item cards in this way, they put those item cards into their hand. This, we could theoretically use Cryptomaniac's Deciphering to put Canceling Cologne or Prime Catcher and Prime Catcher onto the top of the deck, and then PokéStop into them because they're both items. Also, I should also mention, this is no longer called Cryptomaniac's Deciphering, it's called Ciphermaniac's Deciphering. Apparently. This was just the original English translation before we got the actual official translation. But this is great for getting through our deck and getting set up and getting all the pieces we need throughout the game. And then we have Full+Metal+Lab, which makes all of our metal Pokemon take 30 less damage from attacks from the opponent's Pokemon. This allows us to survive a lost impact from Giratina, which is why we are playing this card. We're only playing 1 in the list for now. Theoretically, you could cut PokéStops and go up more of this if you want to try and go for a tankier engine, but I think PokéStop is kind of necessary if you want to go fast and keep up with a lot of the meta. But Full+Metal+Lab is great for swinging that Giratina matchup even just a little bit, whether it be against Arctina or Lostina, particularly Arctina, because Arctina is seeing a resurgence in Japan. I think Full+Metal+Lab is definitely worth an inclusion. It puts you up to basically 290 HP, meaning that their Lost Impact will be 10 short of KOing you. Then we have 4 Metal Energy and 6 Water Energy. This has been a perfect count for being able to consistently get the metal when we want it for Make It Rain, and to get enough water into discard for our Subspace Swell to be able to, or for our Star Portal, to be able to set us up to be able to use Subspace Swell or Moonlight Shuriken. So this is our list. There are definitely things that could change. You could go up another Canceling Cologne, you could go up a PokéStop, you could go up Full+Metal+Labs, you could cut some other cards, you could go up Morty's Conviction, you could toy around with the counts a lot, but this is the list that I have fallen on right now. I really like it a lot. It is a ton of fun so far. So I hope you enjoyed this list. Let me know if you like it, let me know if there are any changes that you would make in the comments down below, and if there are any lists that you would like me to cover on the channel sometime soon. Hope you all enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe if you did, and I will catch y'all later.